Hey, soldiers, we got some interesting developments in terms of the United States of America losing prominence, losing economic dominance at just a frightening pace. And most of it is the fault of American so-called leadership, or really lack thereof, combined with the culmination of decades of profligate spending and mismanagement. The point of the matter is we're in a situation where the United States is going to be existing in a world that has multipolar economic dominance. Nobody's going to be the sole economic superpower going forward. And that has ramifications for your money. All right, so we're going to get right into it. But before we do, please help me spread this message. It's easy. Hit the thumbs up. Let the algorithm do some of the work here. Also, if you are a soldier of finance, I salute you. If you're not, it is easy to enlist. Just hit the subscribe button and you will be a soldier of finance. Let me know that you hit that subscribe button in the comments and I will salute you. All right, guys, so let's just jump right into it. The United States is losing not just economic dominance, but political dominance. And kind of one is coming before the other. Okay, a bunch of political missteps in the last 2 years alone are resulting in countries realigning economically. Now, did you know that, and peace is always good, but did you know that China recently brokered peace between Iran and Saudi Arabia? And they did so under the banner of economic cooperation. Come on, everybody, let's get together and make some money. I've always said it, and I'll say it again. The business of China is business. The business of the United States of America is war. And we're going to prove that to you. And, you know, the U.S. is striking out against these moves by these other countries to realign economically. The U.S. is doing the only thing it knows how to do in being consistent with our business being war. Think about it. Now, Iran and Saudi Arabia, over there in the Arabian Gulf, Arabian Sea, they are starting to say, you know what, let's put these differences aside so we can make some paper together, okay? What did we do in response to that? We talked about it in the previous video. We sent a nuclear ballistic missile submarine, USS West Virginia, in a show of force. For what? We're not bombing the Middle East. Everybody knows that. So what was that all about, okay? Maybe they're trying to harken back to say, hey, Saudi Arabia, remember that deal we made in 1973 where you would denominate oil in dollars and we would protect you? Well, that deal doesn't have as much, luster on it if there's nothing to protect them from. If they have just inked a deal under the auspices of China with Iran, then the Middle East becomes a little bit more stable, all right? And is that not a good thing? Maybe not for the dollar, because the Saudis they're on record as saying that they're going to start denominating some of their oil sales to China in yuan, not dollars. The region is undergoing tectonic geopolitical shifts as Arab Spring-fueled rivalries fade. Okay? Doesn't America always walk around saying we want peace? All right, well, China, look, and don't do it. Okay, I know that there are people, you're a Z lover. Some people think one-dimensionally like that. You can't put out facts without people saying, oh, well, you're allied with these people. No, I'm observing facts. And the fact of the matter is, whatever their motivation, probably money, China is trying to get Iran and Saudi Arabia together so that they can both join BRICS, okay, and add to the economic power of that organization. China's brokering of a detente between Iran and Saudi Arabia. Detente is a $5 word for peace. I know all of my compatriots that came up in West Baltimore probably like, detente? What the hell are you talking about? Detente between Iran and Saudi Arabia accelerates a geopolitical realignment in the Middle East as rivalries that erupted during the Arab Spring fade and outside powers besides the U.S. vie for influence. So this restoration of diplomatic relations between Tehran and Riyadh announced Friday in Beijing, after years of enmity between the two capitals, reflects the new reality, with Washington increasingly preoccupied by Ukraine and Asia. The region is trying to move past its old divisions, resolving conflicts and easing tension. So, while America focuses on, renewed tensions that, were present in the Cold War, all right, and sending Ukraine a bunch of money, and we're trying to actually revamp our military. There's a story in Zero Hedge. Diversity training makes soldiers feel included. This is what our military is working toward, feeling included. I thought the uniform and the rifle did that, but apparently not. Top military officials in the Biden administration recently attempted to defend far-left diversity training in the military, claiming that such sessions make all soldiers feel more included. I doubt it. But this is what our military is focused on, while Russia and China continue to instill in their militaries the desire and skill to kill people and break shit. So we've got that going on with regard to the tensions easing between Iran and Saudi Arabia, so that they can get into the BRICS aligned nations. They've both applied. Guess who else applied for BRICS membership? Mexico. If accepted, the new proposed BRICS members, a lot of countries are applying. The new proposed BRICS members would create an entity with a GDP, or gross domestic product, 30%, that's different, larger than the United States, over 50% of the global population, and in control of 60% of global gas reserves. All right, so it looks like these nations are saying, hey, America, you want to do the wind turbines and you want to do the solar panels? Knock yourself out. We're trying to build economies here, kind of like you did during the Industrial Revolution. And they just don't think that solar panels and laser-powered unicorns are going to do it. Okay, so they are realigning, and part of that realignment is based on these fossil fuel reserves that built America and the West. Come on, let's be honest about it. The Russian Foreign Minister, Sergei Lavrov, has stated that over a dozen countries have formally applied to join the BRICS grouping following the group's decision to allow new members earlier this year. The BRICS currently includes Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. It is not a free trade bloc, but members do coordinate on trade matters and have established a policy bank, the New Development Bank, to coordinate infrastructure loans. A little competition for the IMF and the World Bank. That was set up in 2014 in order to provide alternative loan mechanisms. Oh, there we go. From the IMF and World Bank structures, which the members have felt had become too U.S.-centric. The Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank was set up by China at about the same time for largely the same reasons, and to offer alternative financing than that provided by the IMF and World Banks, which were felt to impose political reform policies designed to assist the U.S. in return for providing loans. So you see that? You see how that influence is fading? How the world is saying, hey, well, we're tired of the sanctions. We're tired of the conditions placed on loans from the IMF and from the World Bank. We're tired of it. And now they're doing something about it. So the other thing that the United States did, Lindsey Graham came out strong, talking about he wants to put together a bill to send the military down to Mexico, take on the cartels, right? Because there's fentanyl in our streets. Where the hell have you been, man? I lived through the 80s in West Baltimore when the crack epidemic came through. This is the first I've ever heard Lindsey Graham say he wants to take military action against, drug lords. So it's got to be something else involved there. And we all know what it is. It's Mexico wanting to join the BRICS. Look, they sent the submarine over when Iran and Saudi Arabia were talking about it. This is the same type saber rattling. It's not going to work. You're not going into Mexico militarily. We all know it's not happening, Lindsay. So America, this is my advice to the Congress and to the president. Change your tune. We need to start, first of all, China's over there working on a diplomatic solution to the tension between Ukraine and Russia. Okay. Meanwhile, we're trying to quash it. All right. We need to really change our tune if we want to get our dominance back. This military, this genuflecting toward a military solution each and every time, it's worn thin. Okay, it's worn thin. Concerning the BRICS expansion, Lavrov stated that Algeria, Argentina, and Iran had all applied, while it is already known that Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Egypt, and Afghanistan are interested, along with Indonesia, which is expected to make a formal application to join at the upcoming G20 summit in Bali. Other likely contenders for membership include Kazakhstan, Nicaragua, Nigeria, Senegal, Thailand, and the United Arab Emirates. All had their finance ministers present at the BRICS expansion dialogue meeting held in May. Okay, May of 2022. So there you have it. Now, the other thing is, in addition to that, we've got, just these countries saying, we're tired of the sanctions, okay? You're not going to control us that way anymore. You can surface as many nuclear ballistic missile submarines as you want. You ain't going to do. You're not going to respond to economic realignment with nuclear weapons. So that was like the craziest move ever. Okay, so how do you realign in order to meet the challenge of your country, the U.S., and the West in general? Because you got to believe that Canada, the U.K., they are, going to be in the same soup with us because their economies are tied so tightly to ours. So how do we, hell, who knows? Canada might join BRICS, okay? They got natural resources. But how do we deal with this as individuals? Well, you got to understand that what the BRICS nations are probably trying to lead up to, China and Russia especially, is a currency that is backed by commodities, okay? They get Saudi Arabia and a lot of these other oil-producing countries in there, then that'll be a whole lot easier. Is it going to happen tomorrow? No. I do believe that since the central banks are buying gold at a prodigious clip, I think that that's something that more people should probably at least take a look at. I'm certainly not telling you what to do. You got to make these decisions on your own, based on your own due diligence. But we are in a world that is rapidly realigning away from the dollar. Okay, so stuff that's denominated in dollars, it's probably going to see a little bit of pressure here, as we move forward. So keep an eye on it. We certainly will. Subscribe, hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode of the Soldiers of Finance where we're updating you on these things. Now, part and parcel of what's going on with the realignment and America losing dominance in economics is the trouble that the banks are in over here in America. 186 institutions are in danger of just collapsing. Banking institutions here in America. We did a video on it. Here it is. Take a look at it. And guys, I'll talk to you soon.